Motorcycle adventure Dirtbike TV is proudly supported by Adventure Spec in England, Rally Raid Products, Giant Loop in the United States and Adventure Moto in Australia.
Ох, русское поле, заоблачный край, дороги открыты, иди выбирай. И каждому выбор в жизни был дан, и водки слеза наполняет стакан. Мы в общем вагоне, злодейка судьба, у каждого будет своя колея. Мне вспомнилось детство, я весел и пьян, я еду в Магадан. Еду в Магадан.
It's hard to fathom that not long ago I was in the middle of Siberia, Russia, sitting in a small overloaded boat in a flooded river, being skippered by a drunken Russian and crewed by a guy from Uzbekistan. I was on my way to Magadan with my Russian friend Renat. We were chasing adventure, and believe me, adventure is not hard to find in Siberia.
Only the Russians. Well, we could very well have a KTM at the bottom of this river.
Our task for the day was to get ourselves and our KTM 990s safely across this flooded river and complete our 17,000 kilometre 6-week motorcycle Russian adventure in one piece.
Looks good.
But to appreciate how I came to be in this predicament, we have to wind back the clock to July 2012, where another motorcycle adventure was taking me from London to Sydney, Australia.
The only thing I forgot to pack was this, and there may be a reason for this. I'm still in the crap. This little towing exercise has been a bit longer than we thought. At the end of the day, it'll be like we've towed the bike from London to Paris.
And our luck changed. We arrived in Samara completely stuffed, but within minutes we found ourselves falling on our feet.
We're desperately looking around for accommodation, but you wouldn't believe what's rocked up. This guy on a KTM 990, and he's got a KTM mechanic. Now, I think we've kicked a goal, an impossibly difficult goal, but things are looking up.
Many motorcycle adventurers will tell you that their best and most memorable experiences frequently come from adversity. After towing my bike 400 kilometres, the opportunity to rest and recover in Samara with the hospitality offered by Renat and his family forged a lifelong friendship. There was no doubt in our minds that one day Renat and I would ride together on our own motorcycle adventure. Fast forward to June 2016 and our dream had materialised. I was in Samara, ready for adventure. Renat had planned for us to ride KTM 990s from his home in Samara, almost the length of Russia, to Magadan.
If you notice, we're going over the top of Kazakhstan, Mongolia, China, and we're spending a lot of time in this area in Siberia.
Yes, from here to Magadan, this road without asphalt about 3,500 kilometers. We will see. Bones.
Well, let's see how we go. How do you say that?
Moto probeg. It's a moto trip.
Wow, they're great. And look at that, he's got Australian buckbusters.
Yes, it's really nice.
One of Renat's friends, Alex, was giving me a lend of his very well prepared KTM 990 adventure for the trip. I'd brought along my own panniers and tank bag, and they fitted perfectly. Knowing we were going to do the big kilometres, extra fuel tanks were essential. But so too were sheepskins fitted to our seats for ass comfort.
I've never seen so many 990s.
Samara has a small but enthusiastic adventure riding community.
Like the cars from movie.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah, Mad Max lights.
Yes.
Yeah. Russian space technology. Space technology. Look at these big tanks. See this? Look in here. Look at this. See that? Space technology.
Покажите этого какого главного. Just look.
And the button.
Oh, the button. Oh, the button. He's got a button.
Safety.
Oh yeah, safety switch so it doesn't blow his ass off. Yeah. Space technology. These ones.
To have rest. You can sleep
Yeah, you can sleep.
right here.
Матихофен. Просто обзавидуется, блин.
Знаете, Казахстан.
They look like cops. The police chips.
Скажи, как ты ногу самую вез?
Just one day out before we leave Samara for Siberia. Renat, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
We're in the biggest square in Europe at the moment, in Samara. It's very impressive and lovely architecture and buildings all through Samara. And we're heading down to the Volga River.
Yes.
Such a wonderful climate in Samara, very similar to Sydney, with a lovely breeze coming off the Volga. Great swimming hole, excellent to swim in. And the Russians love their water sports, just like we do.
Еще грязь не смыта с кожи, только страха больше нет, потому затих прохожий, удивленно смотрит вслед, а движения неловкие, будто бы из мышеловки, будто бы из мышеловки.
Hey, Renat, Kakadu.
Yes.
First place we have lunch on the first day. There it is. This is the Kakadu restaurant. Chicken and borscht.
Yes, both.
Был то пепел, то алмаз, то лукаво, то надменно, ночь прищуривала глаз, а движения неловкие, будто бы из мышеловки.
I want to give you some bad news.
What?
I have a flat tire.
What?
Yeah, rear flat tire.
What is it?
Flat tire.
Flat tire?
Flat tire.
Your flat tire.
Tire went flat, yes. Around 600 kilometres into the ride, and I've managed to blow my tyre. Not quite sure what's happened yet. Very bad time to have flat tyre right on
It's normal.
mosquito time. Holy, look at this. That is very strange.
How is it?
Renat has this great little air compressor inside his motorbike.
It's help us as usual.
It's 10 p.m. on our first day, so we've ridden from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Renat, what's happened?
We have a problem with our rear tire, David. It's a...
Whoa, look at this.
Yes, look.
Yeah, big hole. That's the end of that tyre.
Yes.
You get the drift.
What can we do?
We're going to just wrap that, and hopefully that will be enough just to protect the tube, and I'll slowly drive back to Carrierdale. Day 2, and I'm a little bit embarrassed. Renat's friends have come 650 kilometres to come and give me a new tyre and change this one. I feel very spoilt, very humbled by the
Russian friendship and will to make us succeed in getting to Magadan.
Спасибо. Пожалуйста.
До свидания.
До свидания, да.
До свидания.
Спасибо. До свидания. До свидания. They got me out of the poo big time.
Yes.
По плачущей земле, не чуя сапогов, наш обескровленный отряд уходит от врагов, питаясь на ходу щавелевым листом, ночуя в буераке под калиновым кустом. Нам отдохнуть нельзя, бегом, 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 а наши якобы друзья засели за бугром и смотрят, как нас бьют, не отрывая глаз, и только длинные дороги полностью за нас. Вытри слезы, отдохни немного, я русская дорога.
Well, I've got to say, Russian gravel's no different to what we ride. You see this sort of stuff in Australia all the time, just like marbles. Got a lot of that out west. No different in Russia. This is a corner store. Renat's just bought me my favourite treat, some ice cream, Russian ice cream. Anyone who's ridden with me would know I love ice cream. They reckon I'm an ice cream connoisseur. This is very good, bloody good.
Кто понимает, по 18 копеек.
Заморозим, заметем тоскою, поманив Москвою. Природа на войне, нам как родная мать, но есть время хорониться, а есть время наступать. И вскоре объявились мы во вражьих городках и стали все крушить вокруг, разбили в пух и прах, порвали на куски, размолотили в хлам и, добивая, объясняли стонущим врагам. Запомните загадочный тактический прием: когда мы отступаем, это мы вперед идем вместе с холодами и лесами. Впереди Сусанин.
Beautiful place to camp. We found ourselves a swimming hole. The bikes are a hit in Russia. Yes, Renat, he's found a bed ladder. Oh, so I get the pop gun.
The city of Nizhny Tagil has a long history of iron ore production that goes back to 1696. It was one of the centres of Russian industrialisation and is the largest main battle tank manufacturer in the world. The very modern T-72 and T-90 tanks are produced here, but Renat has taken me to the tank museum for a different reason. He used to drive a T-34 and he wanted to get reacquainted with his old friend. The first challenge is getting into the thing.
You get in first.
The T-34 was regarded as a very effective design, highly manoeuvrable, heavy firepower and difficult to stop.
Is this the sort of tank you drove, this one?
Yes.
Despite the T-34 being his old friend, Renat couldn't help but take a closer look at the mighty T-72. For the next couple of days we were punching out close to 1,000 kilometres per day. And if you've got to do big kilometres on the blacktop, there's nothing better than having the slowly setting sun on your back. But once that sun goes down, Russia has a nasty surprise.
One of the challenges of riding in Russia is mosquitoes and insects. The evening or twilight here goes for hours and hours and hours, and the mosquitoes just smash you. Get a load of this.
If the bugs would let us, we were heading to the stunning city of Tobolsk, a very special place for Russians, as it is considered the historic capital of Siberia. Its history stretches back to the 1500s. a rich city fueled by activity of merchants who used the confluence of two large rivers to ply their trade.
Wow.
It is one of the few cities in Russia which has a standing stone Kremlin, a 17th century stone-walled fortress that surrounds the majestic Cathedral of St. Sophia, built in the 16th century, as well as many other palatial buildings. This Kremlin is spectacularly set on a high riverbank. In 1917, Tsar Nicholas II and his family, the last royal family of Russia, were taken to this residence, where they stayed until the spring of 1918, when they were moved further west by the Bolsheviks and later executed. Back on the road and heading to the Altai Mountains, but first we have to deal with the Stans, that huge flat grassland that seemingly goes on forever. We had dropped southeast from the city of Nizhny Tagil. The Kazakhstan border was now just a couple of kilometres to our right.
It's so bloody hot.
Very hot, really.
Like in desert. Like in desert. Yes, I'd agree with that.
Большой знаток, а значит будет с кем вместе ступить за край. Играй шармама, моя шарманка, играй. Это да, как девчонка, а вам откуда знать? Хочу ли я уцелеть не до того, пока душа несется в рай. Играй шармама, моя шарманка, играй.
Finally, after riding those flat, bloody stans for days, the Altai Mountains were in sight. Soon it would be time to up the tempo and get into the twisty blacktop and flowing gravel trails and take in some mountain views.
Моя шарманка, что мельница, мелит звуки, не верится. Жерновам ее все не беда. Играй, шарманка, моя шарманка, играй. Ущипни мне руку, чудеса. Все, что может, шевелится. И душа несется в рай. Играй, шармама, моя шарманка, играй, шармама, моя шарманка, играй, шармама, моя шарманка, играй, шармама, моя шарманка.
We're not in Russia, we're in Austria or Europe somewhere. This is crazy. Beautiful. As we left this stunning lake village, Renat did a really bad thing that drove me nuts for the rest of the trip. He introduced me to this tune that I just couldn't get out of my head.
Мое место работы называется «Кафе у бобра». Каждый день в 20 вечера за синтезатором появляюсь я. Играю много старой советской фигни. Женщины просят про гранитный камушек в груди. Мужики заказывают Владимирский Централ. Однажды один мне ее 10 раз подряд заказал. Как бы я ни смотрел, работа не фонтан.
150 kilometers out of Irkutsk. Irkutsk. I was close.
Our next goal was to ride around the base of Lake Baikal and up its eastern side.
Lake Baikal, the largest lake in the world. And we're going to spend the next couple of 100 kilometers running along its eastern coast.
Бродяги, судьбу восхваляя,
помощника приехали. Ты откуда и куда?
Hello, David from Australia.
Oh, no, not the Kiwi, that's New Zealand, right?
No, I'm Australia, not New Zealand. Where are you from?
What?
Where are you from?
I'm from Slovenia.
From
Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Yeah. You're riding a Russian bike?
Yes. I stole it.
Песня дерьмо, конечно. Но местным нравится. Говорят, у меня талант, и я должен прославиться. Уже толпы на входе в кафе у Бобра. Все ждут мою персону, все меня встречают на ура. Хозяин Бобра доволен, бабки текут рекой. Уволил сессионную певицу, повысил мне ставку. Ты, говорит, только Вася, пой, Вася, пой. Мою песню мы начали продавать в рингтонах. На концерты приходят люди в погонах. Над Черноморским побережьем звучит Магадан. Я реально поднялся, я реальный пацан. Еду в Магадан. Давай, братан, для нашего столика еще разок. Магадан. Давай, брат.
I couldn't say it was the sandiest beach I've been on. From the map, it doesn't look much in the vast Russian landscape, but it is the largest freshwater lake by volume in the world and contains roughly 20% of the world's unfrozen water. It also holds other records: world's deepest lake at 5,400 feet and the world's oldest lake at 25 million years.
I'll show you how that's done in a minute. Back on the bikes.
This is Chernika.
Chernika.
Very good for your eyes.
That's good.
Especially for child.
I don't know what they taste like. Unusual. Kind of cross between blackberry, blueberry and raspberry.
Yes, some berry.
Some berry.
We're on our way to Chita. And on this beautiful road, no trucks, no one to bother us. It's so beautiful. Big landscapes. But I have a problem with my bike. The fork seals have blown. So we're still about 300 kilometres from Chita, and that still means another 3,500 kilometres to go. So it's really important I get these fork seals fixed. Renat and I are going to have a go at making a fork seal cleaner out of a plastic bottle. That's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so that should do the job. $30, 30 euros.
30 euros. Or maybe more.
Well, given the discs are washing in petrol, because that's all I got. So hopefully that will be good.
Both front disc pads were soaked in fork oil, but stopping didn't matter too much in these conditions. My repair, well, that lasted about 200 k's. We were heading to Chita, our staging point for the biggest challenge of the trip, the Road of Bones. In good conditions, our trip should be fast-flowing gravel, but let's wait and see. At Chita, we picked up new knobby tyres and repaired my fork seals properly.
So we're about 500 kilometres from Chita.
Yes.
In the middle of nowhere.
Since
in Siberia.
Yes.
Absolutely middle of nowhere. Just stopped at a petrol station.
Yes.
And there was an Australian who
Yes.
came through yesterday.
Yes.
Now this Australian gave the petrol service attendant
Yes.
20 bloody cents.
Yes.
Australian for a souvenir. So I've upped it now for $5. So here, look at this. See, there's his 20 cents souvenir. 20 cents. You don't have to get closer. 20 cents. Now, whoever that was, but that's what you give him, $5.
And
Я дарю ему русскую.
да.
Thank you.
10 rubles for souvenir.
I'm rich.
Yes.
Australia.
Kangaroo. Kangaroo.
We swap bikes. They can have our bikes and.
Болен, но ведь жив еще пока. И плывут по небу над Россией, а то ли тучи, то ли облака.
Собирала в огороде мать красную смородину. Снова сын уехал воевать, умирать за родину.
One thing that astounds me with Russian work ethic, Renat and I lobbed at this tyre repair place at 7 p.m. and they just said, yeah, come in, we'll help you fix the tyres. You wouldn't get that in Australia. Very inspiring, always people wanting to help in Russia and get you going. So Renat, we've picked a narrower tread for the next bit. It's a narrower tyre, isn't it? To get that.
Will be better for us.
Yes, gives us good grip and turning.
Домик маленький, 6 соток садоводства. Крыша ржавая, сарай из 3 досок. Яблоня под яблоками.
Renat's timing for replacing the tyres was impeccable. That night the rain poured down and we were greeted in the morning with a slippery clay-based surface that kept us on our toes for hundreds and hundreds of kilometres.
I know the lens isn't very good, but I've just had my first drop in Siberia, right on that bridge. I crashed as I came onto the bridge and slid down the bridge, and you know the guardrail went boom.
You okay?
Yeah. Where is your sheep? Your sheep is gone.
Yes.
Where is he? He's in the bin.
Another casualty of the rain and mud was Renat's sheepskin that found its way to the bin. My sheep remained on the bike, and I don't mind when they get dirty and matted. For me, their comfort matures like a fine wine.
My sheep is retired.
Yes.
I thought we were doing it tough until we came across these guys riding road bikes. Have a look at that extra padding to protect his ass. These guys were proud indigenous Siberians known as Yakuts, from the land of Yakutia or eastern Siberia. Their ancestors were hunters, fishermen and reindeer herders, and they had a strong attachment to their land and nature. They were returning from a bike trip to their home city of Yakutsk.
Better than that.
We befriended them and shared a meal, and I was introduced to drinking the tears of God that had the dramatic effect of making Renat a great singer.
Счастлив, кому знакомо щемящее чувство дороги, а ветер рвет горизонты и наступает рассвет. 9.
Hey!
Мы путники. Have a nice trip.
Now just before I go to bed,
Yes.
this is the stuff we've been drinking. Now it looks like water.
Yes, just
It's not water. It's not water.
It's a samogon.
It's samogon.
It's a hot water.
Whiskey. Cry or what? How do you
Pure tears.
Tears of God.
Tears of God. Yakuts, our primary staging area for our run to Magadan, is only 115 kilometres away.
Our Yakutsk friends, who were the leaders of the Night Wolves Motorcycle Club, invited us to stay at Yakutsk before hitting the Road of Bones. To get to the city, we have to cross the Lena River. There are no bridges in this place of extremes. The river is impassable for long periods of the year by large blocks of ice and fast-flowing water due to the spring melt. And here, standing in a t-shirt on a very pleasant afternoon, it was hard to believe that the average winter temperatures fall well below minus 30 degrees Celsius. One of our friends was waiting on the riverbank, but we had bad news. Rain was heading our way and we needed to knock over the first 300 kilometres of the Road of Bones. Renat apologised to our host and we headed back on the ferry with the intent of punching out some serious Ks in the long twilight.
Well, interesting news. Renat's just got the weather report and it looks like rain tomorrow. We were going to stay in Yakutsk, but we've decided we're going to punch ahead and try to knock out 200 to 300 kilometres towards Magadan. Otherwise, we won't make it in time. So a little bit of pressure, a little bit of change, but it's okay. They're ideal conditions for riding today. Let's see how we go.
Сон, где короткой весной.
The Road of Bones is regarded as a memorial by many Russians. Construction commenced in 1932 at the height of the Stalinist era, and the road was built by political prisoners, many of whom died during its construction. The road was built on permafrost, and the most practical way of burying the dead was to inter them into the foundations of the road. An undignified and tragic end to those that disagreed with the dominant regime of the time. In the distance, a rainbow signalled wet weather ahead. We had been warned that if the first few hundred kilometres of hard-packed black soil got wet, it would be a challenge to keep upright. It had been a huge day. We'd been riding from 8 AM and it was now approaching 11 PM. And some of the most challenging riding of the trip faced us, and fatigue was now our enemy.
This is our accommodation for the night. It's just like a Belgian motocross track before you even get there. I could very well drop it before I even get in the garage. There you go, Renat. Don't drop it. You good?
We're heading to Magadan.
Yes, we are on the Road of Bones.
We are on the Road of Bones.
Yes. Very interesting.
This is like hard-packed grease. You know, it seems good, and then you get a bit like just up here, and you've just got to try to manage your way through it. There's really nothing as slippery as this.
Renat, a breakfast of mud.
Yes. Everywhere here is our breakfast will be mud.
We have 200 kilometres of this.
Yes, and from Churapcha we made 50.
That's not bad.
Not bad, but what will be ahead?
Yes.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
That is so slippery. Come on, cows, give me a break. Hey, come on, give me a break. Hey, the Road of Bones is like just a war of attrition. It's not that difficult, but there's just so much of it, and you've just got to keep focused, or if you'll drop the bike. But dropping the bike, all that means is you waste a shitload of energy picking it up and a shitload of time that you could be moving forward.
Welcome to the Road of Bones motocross track for 990s.
Yeah, it's a race against rain actually. We'd love to get through this now 150 k's of slippery surface before the rain hits us.
We're just keeping ahead of the rain. I hope we make it through this black mud section. We've got 120 kilometres to go and then the road improves. But the conditions are tough, but having said that, it's keeping us warm. But if it pisses down rain, this is going to get really difficult and potentially could stop us getting to Magadan on time. One other thing I forgot about, the cafe owner's telling us there's beers ahead, and that's not schooners. They're the furry kind. Furry beers. Okay, and where's Magadan?
Here.
In that bay?
Here.
Yeah. We've come a long way.
Yes, and first of all we go to Usnera, and after Usnera, Sushuman, and here is Magadan. 1,600 kilometers more to Magadan.
Well, this is the downtown street of this village. Well, we've had pretty arduous conditions most of the day. I think I've just about ridden on every road surface known to man, from this size round slimy boulders to mud, to white mud, to sand. Oh, the list just goes on and on.
It had been lightly raining all day, and the vastly different road surfaces meant there were not many times to relax, and you just simply had to stand on the pegs to get the best stability and responsiveness from the 990s. As we moved from the river flats into this ancient mountain range, the cool of altitude combined with soaking rain worked together to drop our body temperatures and let fatigue creep in. Fertile ground for earworms, and it didn't take me long to start humming that bloody song Renat introduced me to back in the Altai Mountains.
Мое место работы называется «Кафе у бобра». Каждый день в 20 вечера за синтезатором появляюсь я. Играю много старой советской фигни. Женщины просят программщика камушка в груди. Мужики заказывают владимирские цимбалы. Однажды один мне ее 10 раз подряд заказывал. Как бы я ни смотрел,
Look at the hills in the background.
то ли дело у моего друга-пианиста, начальник гаража.
It's been a long slog to get here, but we're on our way to Magadan, and we're starting to be rewarded with spectacular scenery.
Так и не смог найти. Тут или лапухом быть, или двор мести. Программа типичная, не дать не взять. И каждый день кто-нибудь нажирается и начинает ко мне приставать. И чтобы как-нибудь разнообразить собственный трек-лист, я решил запеть свои песни, ведь я голосист. Сочинил песню, пою ее иногда для местных.
Whilst the stunning beauty of this land did its best to arouse my senses, the day was taking its toll.
It's been relentless today. Finally got me. So you can see these ruts. And what I've done, I've got one over one side, one over the other, and over I've gone. Anyway, let's see the bike, make sure it's alright.
Еду в Магадан.
Песня дерьмо, конечно, но местным нравится. Говорят, у меня талант, и я должен прославиться. Уже толпы на входе в кафе у бобра. Все ждут мою персону, все меня встречают на ура. Хозяин бобра доволен, бабки текут рекой.
Renat
has found us some accommodation. The closest you'd come to a Sawyer's space station, I suppose. The hut is covered in about, I don't know, a foot of insulation. These flea-bitten beds, my God. Fortunately, we've got our sleeping bags. But the thing is, it's warm and dry. But what happens is, as you come down, again, the whole thing is lined with thick insulation, and then into this nice toasty area where we can dry our clothes.
Over 600 kilometers, sometimes through the mud, sometimes through mountains, crossed one river without bridge. Everything is okay.
You wait till you see the outside of this place. Honestly, it is a shithole.
Shithole. Now I know what is it. Shithole.
Oh God. I can hear the sand coming out of my eyes and hitting the floor. Listen. I can hear it.
Yes, yes.
Art's eating his sunflower seeds and watching a Russian movie. Come and have a look at the outside of Sputnik 12. Following 2 huge days where we rode from 8 AM in the morning to 11 at night on slippery muddy roads that demanded you stood on the pegs, the light rain for the morning meant more of this relentless challenge. But Siberia was about to throw us a wild card.
Uh-oh. I find the free place on this petrol station. This is the old tradition. Keep the sticker on this petrol station.
There's enough there, isn't there?
Yeah.
I wonder what the weather and road conditions are going to toss up for us today. Every now and again I think it's going to clear, and I'm just sadly mistaken.
Finally, a road with some grip, which was a welcome relief after the last 2 days' experience. But then again, we were greeted with this. There's been a huge flood, and it's just torn 2 spans of this bridge away. My heart sank as I tried to comprehend what I initially thought was an impossible challenge. What the hell does this mean for our trip? The first thing you've got to do when in Russia when you've got a problem is have a cup of tea and listen to some good music. Спасибо. How's this? Beautiful. During our tea, we made new friends and discovered these people had been waiting a week gambling if the roadworks would make a crossing possible.
Don't speak too much, just do it.
Yes, yes. Или еще скажи это. Не откладывай свою мечту. Сел и поехал.
Don't forget about your dream. Just sit down and go!
Renat's discussion had turned to a different solution for us. A boat crossing may be the answer. My God, I wonder if that's the boat that's gonna take our bikes across. Very interesting if that is. It wouldn't be 18 foot long.
Загрузил эту лодку в казанку и все.
So it's okay, Renat. We're going across. We paddling? Talk about Russian ingenuity and determination. Where I'm standing now didn't exist 3 days ago. 65 trucks have been working 24 hours a day to try to repair this bridge and open it. It's crucial for a number of things. It's crucial to villages nearby, but it's also crucial to gold mining operations. So it's got to be open.
And that water looks impossibly fast, but they're going to overcome it. They don't let go. The director of gold mining's come in to have a look at the damage to the bridge, see what the progress is, because they can't get the gold out with the broken bridge. We're having a talk. This guy on the right is a bulldozer driver, and I think he's going to kindly just move some earth for us so we can go down in there. What's going on, Renat?
This guy is the chief of
engineering?
Yes, engineer. And now some guys up this one, and the bulldozer driver help for us make
a boat ramp.
Yes, make here the place for our bikes.
Only the Russians.
Yeah.
Only the Russians.
Especially.
He's making a boat ramp especially for us.
Yes, this bulldozer driver do it especially for 2 bikers from Samara and Sydney.
The director of mining's come over and said, "What are these guys doing?" And the head of engineering said, "Oh, we're just making these 2 bikers a boat ramp."
Just for us.
The ultimate boat ramp. You can see the waters, the back currents here, but look at the water over there raging.
I will drink on the beach in Australia. Don't call me to prison, you know.
Thank you for your kindness.
Ох, русское поле, заоблачный край, дороги открыты, иди выбирай. И каждому выбор в жизни был дан, и водки слеза.
Well, we could very well have a KTM at the bottom of this river.
Я там был Германия, там Люксембург.
Oh,
Там я там был.
You're from Uzbekistan?
Да, Узбекистан. Люксембург.
I went over in the first boatload with my Uzbek friend, and Renat stayed to load the bikes.
Now let's get through that current without tipping over. I'll be very happy.
My job was to unload them, and it's pretty clear from my first attempt that I needed some practice.
Squashing me, leg. Down. I can't get out.
Эй! В вагоне злодейка судьба, у каждого в жизни своя колея. И годы проходят, я весел и пьян, я еду в Магадан.
Things went far more smoothly for the second bike, and we had overcome our biggest obstacle in around 4 hours.
Mother Russia has finally given us sunshine. She's been kind to us today. Weather conditions are ideal. 930 k's to Magadan. Yeehaw!
Я был повязан первый раз в 13 лет. Залез в ларек, хотелось булочек с корицей. На фарт мне кинули фуфло, потом пошло.
There's our lunch for the day. Beautiful.
This second breakfast.
Second breakfast. And that's the view.
There is a very small weather window of about 6 weeks in summer for motorcycle adventurers to take on the road of bones and the extremes of Siberian climate. Renat and I had taken a risk starting on this road knowing that we would be greeted by bad weather, and we had not seen a motorcycle for over 2,000 kilometres since we started. But as the weather improved, we came upon a small number of motorcycle adventurers heading the opposite way. They had waited out the bad weather in Magadan before venturing on the Road of Bones.
Hello, David.
Алексей.
Alexei.
Проезжаем Сусуман, да, потом.
Нет, вот до Сусумана. Рядом прям здесь. Сусуман тогда.
They were interested in conditions we had experienced, particularly those wanting to take on the far more challenging summer road, a detour of around 350 kilometres, made famous by UK motorcycle adventurer Austin Vince. And we had bad news for them. The river levels were very high and likely to be impassable.
Well, Renat and I have just come across another rider. Your name?
I'm David from Switzerland.
David from Switzerland. And what's your plan? What are you doing?
So my plan is, I started in Magadan, is to ride to Ulaanbaatar.
Yes.
Leave my bike there for 1 year, and come back next year. And I really hope to ride the whole summer road.
Yes.
I met two Russian guy and one guy from Belarus with the same plan.
Yes.
And we're gonna try together.
Oh, that's good.
We bought some big tubes.
Yes.
To
four.
float.
We each one carrying one, and we will inflate them. And if we have to put the bikes or build
a raft.
We don't know yet. We're gonna go to the first big river and have a look.
The rivers are high and fast flowing at the moment.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Yeah, it's very
we're
fast.
Gonna have a look because
you can.
I'm not coming back every 2 years.
Well, we've had rain and mud for a couple of days, and I just say be careful because the rivers are up. So you chose a KTM 640. How long have you had her for?
Since 2012.
Yes.
And it had seen already a lot of dirt.
Yes. Well, so there's another guy using the Spot. David uses the Spot as well.
I met a few guys during my trip that had to use it because I never had to use the emergency.
Yes.
And one couple from Australia used it in Mongolia.
Yes.
There's one guy, actually the guy that was riding this way, this Transalp.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
His friend, he had to use it in 2012 on the Road of Bones. He crossed one of the few first river and he burned his clutch.
Yes.
And he had to ask the emergency. It took 48 hours.
And they got there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, really.
I use, I've had a Spot for many years. I have the same one as you. At the completion of every night, I just pinpoint for my wife so she knows where I am. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Well, we wish you the best. Bye-bye. 250. Like the freeway. Everyone leaving Magadan now the weather's improved.
Oh, look at this! Wild Russia! Yeehaw!
This would be one of my last expansive views of the ancient Siberian landscape that had been the home of the woolly mammoth and dinosaurs. The sunny weather had brought with it dust, something I hadn't seen for weeks. Despite the effort, I'd prefer wrestling in mud any day. The roads alternated between quality blacktop and well-maintained dirt, and we were covering the last few hundred kilometres to Magadan at a cracking pace. Our final overnight stop before reaching Magadan would be at the old Soviet Union town of Yagodno, defined by those large unit blocks in various states of disrepair. And one of them would be our home for the last night of our trip. I've been intrigued by these multi-storey buildings that almost look derelict. And on our final night, we're actually going to stay in one. It's reasonably well appointed inside. It just looks so derelict outside. And here's our beds, nice bright lights.
No, flat in the Soviet Union.
In the Soviet Union, so in the 1960s.
Yeah.
I was surprised to find the unit clean and warm, simple but functional. And after dropping our gear off, we were met by the president of the Polar Owls Motorcycle Club, who warmly welcomed us and invited us to put our bikes in their workshop for the night.
We're at the Polar Owls Motorcycle Club, and a veterinarian runs it, and he's gone to operate on a cat. It's going to take him about an hour, so the cat must be pretty sick. As usual, Renat will have a cigar and we'll eat some sunflower seeds and watch this Russian movie.
Yes. This is my last cigars in my bag.
Your last cigar? Well, you timed it well.
This small club represented the very best of the adventure riding spirit, offering free accommodation, access to a huge range of tools capable of fixing anything, and most importantly, a well-stocked beer fridge.
We're at the Polar Owls Motorcycle Club, Magadan. Hello.
Hello, I'm a doctor.
That's good. This is a couple of members of the club. Very interesting. Rides the very ultra-reliable Honda Africa Twin.
You don't need to understand Russian when Renat is speaking the universal motorcycle language of bench racing. He was recounting our challenging times in the mud. And we left our new friends from this small town with a huge heart, and we were back into the dust. But it didn't matter too much, as our journey was near its end.
This place has name Grandfather's Bald Head.
Grandfather's Bald Head. And these are the last few kilometres of dirt on the road to Magadan, aren't they, Renat?
Magadan just 245.
So about 45 k's of dirt.
Yes.
And here comes one of the reasons we hate dirt. Dust.
Almost in the blink of an eye, the raw Siberian wilderness that we had been immersed in for weeks gave way to a city life. As we rode those final kilometres, I reflected on how a great friendship between Renat and I had been forged on the side of the road, and how that friendship led us to this 17,000 kilometre adventure across Siberia. Renat had given me a wonderful gift, to see and feel Mother Russia and its people from the seat of a motorcycle. I would leave Russia with my belief firmly intact that the nightly news distorts our view of the world and how others live life, and that the best way to see the truth is to see it for yourself. There was no fanfare or welcoming party when we reached Magadan, just a small celebration between ourselves. But we knew we were part of only a handful of adventure riders throughout the world that had taken this journey in the summer of 2016, and we were content with that achievement. Motorcycle adventure is infectious, not only to the riders but to their families. And within 6 months after our ride to Magadan, Renat and his wife Svetlana visited us in Sydney, Australia, and Sonia and I shared our country with our lifelong friends. And this is the beauty of motorcycle adventure.
Еще грязь не смыта с кожи, только страха больше нет. Потому затих прохожий, удивленно смотрит вслед.